Hello and welcome back to another lesson. Last lesson we talked about the uh, map.for each method as well as the map entries method. And we were able to see the difference between the two and each of them, how they work with map objects in JavaScript. Moving away from that lesson, we are going to be talking about other two important methods in this lesson. The first one is the map.keys method and the second one is the map.values method. So the keys method returns an iterator object with the keys in a map. Unlike the entries that return key value, so the keys itself returns keys, iterator object with the keys in a map. And then the map.values, the values method return an iterator object with the values in a map. You can see one returns keys, the other one returns value. So let's look at an example of each of these methods in our code editor. So talking about the map keys method. It returns a key in a map. The keys method returns an iterator object with the key in a map. So sorry, I'm trying to get this ready. I updated my editor, so that was the problem. So now I'm back. Now, if you look at the example that I have here, I can just quickly make use of it. So I have a map object, which you can see here, it contains 4 elements. And now, to use the, what do I call it, the keys method, I'm going to have to iterate over it because what it returns is an iterator object with the key in a map. So I'll just quickly do the for of method is what I'm going to be using. Const x of fruit dot keys, which is the method. And then I can say text plus equals, what do I want? X plus rake tag BL. And outside of this comes my document dot get element by ID demo1 dot inner HTML equals to text. And now you can see that it returns just the keys and not the value because it returns an iterator object with the key in a map. So what is meant by the key? This is the key in this map object: apples, oranges, pineapple, and watermelon. So these are the key and these are the value: 30, 20, 20, and 100. So this is how the keys method works. It returns an iterator object with the keys in a map. Now, on the opposite of that is the values method. Values method. The values method return an iterator object with the value in a map. So this is like the opposite of the keys method that we just talked about. So in this example now, you can clear this and just make use of the example that I have here. So let's text where I want the result of my iterables to be an empty string, and then I can iterate for const x of fruit dot value and do text plus equals x plus break b and outside of this document dot get element by ID demo1 dot inner HTML equals to text. And what do you expect this will return? It will return values because it return an iterator object with the value in a map. So this will not also return keys, it will return value, which is the reason why I said so just like the opposite of the first one that we talked about, the keys method. The keys method return the keys iterator object with the keys in a map, while the values method returns an iterator object with the value in a map. So one returns key, the other one returns value. So in the first example, you can see that apples, oranges, pineapple, and watermelon were returned as the keys in that map. But in this method, you can see what is being returned: 30, 20, 20, 100. So which happens to be the values of the keys in the element of our map. So this is how you can use the values method in JavaScript map. Now, you can use the values method to sum the value in a map. You can as well use this value method to add together the values in a map. So let's look at an example. We already have a map object on the screen. So let me just set a total to the 0 to show us how this can be added. It can be used to add elements in a map together, and then we'll just iterate again of fruits dot value, and inside this I want to add total, which is the initial value that I have at 0, plus the value of x, which is the new value I expect to get from this iteration. So let's take a look and see what we get at the end of the day. Dot get element by id demo 1 dot inner html equals to total. So let's see what we get: 170. So, and if you add this together, 30 plus 20 plus 20, that's 70 plus 100, that is 170. So, which is correct. So the values can also be used as a way to sum the values in a map together. Thank you, and I'll see you.